Hey there everybody, redxparasite here, and welcome back to Let's Play Metroid Prime 3. In the last episode, we destroyed the Leviathan Seed on Elysia, and we got a oh, come on. I got that. And we got instructed by the Aura unit that our next objective will be destroying the Leviathan on the Pirate Homeworld. So we'll be heading over there to do that. As you can see, our level of Phazon corruption has also increased from destroying the seed, and our suit is showing more signs of corruption as well. But I definitely feel like this section of the game, and particularly the later section, is where the story of Prime 3 really shines. The involvement of the Federation, you know, they're not just kind of some entity in the background that Samus is working for. You know, we actually get to see them in action, which is really cool. So the Pirate Homeworld is an interesting area. I mean, there are definitely parts of it that look cool, like, you know, this cutscene looks pretty neat, but the design is a little bit more kind of drab, and the colors aren't as bright, which, you know, if you think about the space pirates, probably makes sense. Okay, so we have a new kind of door, which I'm gonna have to go back and make sure that I've gotten all of the door scans, because I'm really not sure that I have. But don't worry, we will be revisiting all of the areas at some point. Okay, just gonna stand here since I don't take any damage from these guys. We have a new enemy here. This is a Despair class turret. Heavily armored defense system susceptible to explosive attacks. Space pirates have upgraded the venerable Remorse turrets with a new unit. The Despair turret has been reinforced with a layer of heavy armor, making it far more durable. The unit's offensive capabilities remain identical to the previous model, and fast targets are still able to evade its limited targeting system. So, other than firing a new beam, these ones are essentially the same in terms of how easy they are to evade. They do take a lot more hits to down, though, at least for right now. Some stuff here in this room we can't do anything about, including accessing the map here. So we can scan this, however. So these are the lore entries. So the space pirate data. So this one is our mission. Phazon was discovered 2 stellar years ago, and since that moment, command has been driven to control it all. 2 operations have been established at tremendous cost. Both have failed thanks to the accursed hunter Samus Aran. Her Federation allies now move to secure what little Phazon remains on the planet Ether. This we cannot allow. We, the crew of the battleship Colossus, swear to take that Phazon or die trying. So for now, we're just going to take this elevator, and there are actually 2 levels that we can go to. The first level we can't do anything about for now, so we'll be going up to level 3. And they did make a slight departure in how, you know, the elevators work here, in that you don't step into a hologram. You know, since they have the motion controls, they wanted to do a kind of point and click thing. They gotta work them in, you know, in whatever ways they can. So this is a plasma door. Make sure you get the scan. I don't think there are too many of these. I mean, there's definitely more than one. That's not the only one. Good thing about the doors, though, they never move. So if you're missing a scan for a door, then it will always be there. Aside from the blast shields, though. Those are a one-time only thing. getting treated to a particularly long cutscene here. A lot of information to take in here.
Samus, Gandreda's communication capsule has revealed additional information concerning the pirate facility. We believe there is a cargo supply route that connects directly to the sea.
That's convenient.
The gate in this room appears to be its main entrance.
That's also convenient.
It will be impossible to go through that area unless you can find protection from the acid rain.
That's inconvenient. So, we have kind of our main objective here, which is to find protection from the acid rain. So if you stand in it, it will hurt you. It does damage pretty fast, and I think the damage that you take does accelerate the longer that you're standing in it. So it is possible to avoid getting protection for the acid rain, but it's not an easy thing to do. And obviously something that we're not going to attempt because we're not speedrunning the game. But some of the things that you do to kind of avoid the acid rain are pretty cool. So definitely look up a speedrun if you're interested in seeing skips for that. So there's a missile expansion here if you just take the left path at this fork. It's a dead end, so once you reach the missile, you can just go back to taking the normal route. Okay, so what we have here is an energy cell, and I don't think there's anything. Yeah, there's acid rain here, so there's nothing else for us to really do here other than just grab this. And that will deactivate those fans that we saw. Which will allow us to access that morph ball tunnel down there. So, and of course the game's nice, and it gives us a tunnel to access that as well. So there are actually a lot of morph ball tunnels in this area of the Pirate Homeworld base. We'll see some more of them in the future. So there's a missile expansion in there. We can't access it yet, just yet. For now, let's press onward. Do you have some crawl tanks here? If you're quick, you can dispatch them before they go into hyper mode. If not, then you'll just have to deal with it. Okay, so I believe if you do not flip the cover here, you will be able to get into this column area here, but we can't do anything about that just yet. So it's we're gonna have to flip it and go the other way. This is where we actually want to go. So the room that we are currently under the floor of is the command station. This is actually a pretty important room. If we go all the way to the right, then there's a missile expansion right here that we can get. So pretty easy one to get. Kind of the same thing as the last one that we just got. You know, you just go the opposite direction of progress in a fork and Orfell tunnel, and then boom, missile expansion. So we haven't really had any option to go anywhere else, and our path has led us to this room. So no important scans here other than this thing, which is the X-ray visor. It's making a return from the first Prime game. So they kind of did an X-ray visor in the Dark Visor in Prime 2. It served a very similar function. And as you can see, we have a code that we need to enter here, but we can't see the buttons here. Now, I'm not sure if the game will just prevent you from being able to do those at all, if you don't have the X-ray visor turned on, or if you could theoretically do them if you hit the right buttons. I'm not sure, because I've never really tested it. It would be a really difficult thing to test. So we unlock the X-ray visor. So by using the X-ray visor, we'll actually be able to see the buttons and enter in the code more easily. Now, one thing that they did in Prime 3, which I definitely approve of, is they changed the way that the X-ray visor looks. So if I go into it here, that's not it. Instead of being kind of bright white and dark, you know, things that you can kind of see through, it's just a lot better on the eyes, I think. So you can see the phazon through the wall here, so that's pretty cool. So let's take a look at this. So yeah, I can't actually get out of the X-ray visor here while I'm still looking at it, so we'll just do it the normal way. Now, what makes these particularly tricky and difficult to just kind of cheese is the buttons actually shuffle after you do an input. So basically you just have to guess. And I could run the numbers and figure out, you know, how likely it would be for you to get it based on guessing. It's not very good odds. So what we did here is we lowered the rail so that these phazon capsules will, you know, come in through this room, and we can utilize them to open the path forward, which actually is the only way for us to get out, since we have no means of using that track to the left. So we have another type of door here that we can't open for right now, another one of these. Now that door will be locked off from you, and no, I guess they don't appear just yet. Okay, we will need the X-ray visor. Some of these don't require the X-ray visor, and a good deal of them do. I'm not sure what the rhyme or reason behind, you know, the ones that don't require the X-ray visor is, because you think that they'd be something that you would need the X-ray visor to use, and therefore they'd block off areas that they didn't want you accessing without it. But I don't know.
This is Federation Trooper NZG-41. Can anyone read me? Over. Repeat, this is Federation. I'm transmitting on an encoded channel. I was taken prisoner during the attack on Norian, but I've managed to escape. I have information about how to bypass the acid rain and get through to the seed. I don't know how long I can evade capture. I'm transmitting my coordinates now.
Okay, so we got a transmission from a Federation trooper who escaped capture here on Norian and claims to have information on how to get past the acid rain. So that is currently the best lead that we have as far as getting past the acid rain. Plus, you know, we'd be remiss if we didn't help out a Federation soldier. So if you come up here to the command center, there's not much for us to actually do in this room, but we do get a cutscene where we see a beam weapon being used. You can also get the scan here, so you do need to come up here if you are getting the scan completion. So this is Stowaway. Our attempts to intercept the Federation ship departing Ether were unsuccessful. With them went a collection of phazon, the first to fall into Federation hands. They foolishly left most of the phazon behind, allowing us to quickly collect what we could, but in our haste we took more than mere phazon. Our scanners have detected the remains of Dark Samus, who has revived herself within our phazon storage. Surely we are cursed. The fiendish shrew consumed all of the phazon, then wiped out a third of the crew in a matter of minutes. Now she moves at will through the halls of Colossus, using her witchery to beguile the minds of the crew. We are unable to call for aid, and only a few of us remain to stand against her. All is lost. So, now what we're going to do is head towards the location of that Federation trooper. And once we actually come back this way, we have not new pirates, which is interesting. So this is Assault Pirate Trooper. I don't know if I got this scan earlier on or not. I feel like I haven't. Let's go in here and see if it looks familiar. Unique armor will deflect all missile fire, but is still damaged by beam attacks. Basic armament includes... Okay. So, I must have gotten this scan before then. So, missiles will not work on them, so you'll have to use a regular beam to get rid of their armor. Well, missiles will work on them after you take their armor off, but they don't really have too much health after that, so it's not too much of an issue. So sitting right here in front of our face is the missile expansion. So of course we will pick that up. And we're going to need to use the X-ray visor again. So we have to shoot these invisible targets. And the order will shift around. If you fail to hit them in a timely manner, the puzzle will kind of reset itself. So just make sure you do it quickly enough. So now we can rotate the room around and actually go from one side to the other. What's interesting though is that you can only go one way in this room at a time. So now we could go from this side to that side, but you know, if we came into the room on the other side, we wouldn't be able to go this way. So it's interesting. I do think the game will flip it around for you, depending on where you land. So if you, for example, land on this side and it's facing the other direction, I think it will actually flip it around for you so that you can access it on this side. So the game is nice like that. But now that we have the X-ray visor, we can finally... Well, do we need it for this? Yeah, we do. Okay. I was about to say. So now that we have the X-ray visor, we can get this map. And that will actually aid us in finding that Federation trooper that contacted us. Because that will give us a new landing site. And it also shows us where the seed is, but that's not of high importance to us at the moment. So for now, we're going to be making our way back to our ship so that we can travel to the other area. Now, they are connected, these two areas, if I do recall correctly. Yeah, so they are connected, but I don't think we can get to the transit that leads between them, so for now we're just going to have to take our ship. And besides, we're closer to our ship anyways. Right, so we'll fly to the research facility. And since it's the first time that we're seeing this, I'll let this cutscene rock. What I do find interesting about the transitions between areas in the Pirate Homeworld is that we're actually flying underground here. So this is just a tunnel connecting the two areas. Because in other areas, you know, we just kind of flew in the sky. Okay, so this is new. Okay, so this is actually a scan for us to get. It's a pirate cargo drone. Pirate cargo drones were designed to assist with the transporting of supplies throughout the Pirate Homeworld. Their aerial capabilities allow them to navigate the underground catacombs with relative ease. Cargo often consists of items too dangerous or volatile to be moved by hand. And I think we can also scan the container that it's carrying. Okay, so that's a heavy phazon canister. Pretty self-explanatory. They have phazon in them. Don't stand too close to them when you destroy them because they will explode. Like that. We actually don't need any of this. So I think now that we've made it to the research facility here, this will be a good place to end off this episode. So thank you very much for watching this episode of Let's Play Metroid Prime 3. I've been redxparasite, signing out.